Hello, everyone. My name is Tammy Hooper, and I am a real estate agent in South Carolina and North Carolina. And today I am talking with you about how to choose a real estate agent. So, if you haven't had a chance to see the first video that I did in this series, then I definitely recommend that you go and you watch that video. Because one of the things that I recommend is first and foremost going through your contact list, people you know, to see who you know that is a real estate agent, and then you start there. So go back and watch that video if you haven't done that step yet, and that video will give you some things that you can do to help narrow down from the people who you know that are real estate agents to make the right choice when it comes to a real estate agent for yourself. Now, if you definitely already know that you don't know anyone who is a real estate agent personally, then I recommend that you go through your contacts and you reach out to people who have used a real estate agent recently, because you for sure know someone who has purchased a home, sold a home, made a commercial property purchase, rented a home, built new construction. There's someone who you know who has used a good real estate agent recently. So maybe go through your social media, go through your contact list in your phone, think about people you work with or people who you may communicate with or socialize with in other types of groups that you are a part of, and ask them if you are looking to buy a home. Ask someone who you know who has purchased a home recently, who did you use as your real estate agent, and did you like them? Would you recommend that I use them as well because I'm in the market to purchase a home? Or if you want to build new construction, the same thing. Ask someone who has done that recently. And I think you will come up with a good list of a couple of different agents who you could potentially use as your real estate agent. Now, once you've identified two or three people that have been personally referred to you by people who you know, and it's an agent that they have used, or it could be an agent that they used for commercial and you're going to build a home, then, and they loved that agent and they felt like that agent was very trustworthy and they knew their business, and then you can contact that agent and say, hey, could you refer someone to help me? So even if they're not the agent that's going to help you, then if your friend loved that agent and they love the experience they had with them, then their agent friend can refer you to a good agent. So start there, and once you have kind of a list, maybe of 4 or 5 names, then here's some of the things that you need to find out about this agent that will help you determine if they're going to be a good fit for you. So first and foremost, you want to find out what kind of business do they do. So are they in the residential real estate business? Are they in commercial? Do they do both? If you are looking to rent an apartment or rent a house, are they willing to help you with that? If you are in the market of new construction, have they ever done new construction? Do they help with new construction? Do they work in that area of the business? If you are relocating to a new state, have they ever helped anyone do that? So, for example, I do help people who relocate, and I've actually helped clients in other states purchase homes in South Carolina that they've never seen. And I have a way, or they've never stepped foot in, or they've never seen in person. And I have a way of helping them do that so that they feel comfortable making those purchases because I've done it in the past and I know how to help them with those pieces. So it's important that you find someone who has worked in the area of real estate that you need them to help you in. So find that out first. Then find out, where do they work? Do they work in the area where you're going to need their help? Or you could do that first and then find out what business they're in. So if you're looking to purchase in South Carolina, I'm licensed in South Carolina, but I don't work the entire state of South Carolina. Now, I have traveled to Myrtle Beach to help clients who wanted to purchase new construction in Myrtle Beach, because I was able to go there, do a little bit of research, talk with these new home communities, go visit these new home communities with my clients, and it was a process that I was able to help them with because we were going to have limited communication and limited visits to these new home communities doing what it was that we needed to do. So sometimes I can help a client depending on their situation if they're not in my immediate area. Um, but in most cases, 99.9% of the time, I am only going to work in South Carolina in Greenville, Taylors, Greer, Simpsonville, or Fountain Inn. That's it. If I have a client who says, or I have someone who says, Tammy, I need help in Columbia, South Carolina, then I'm not going to go to Columbia and help them. But what I am going to do is say, well, I've got a great agent that I can refer you to in Columbia, South Carolina. Here's their name. Or let me have them contact you. So I will be able to help you regardless. So once you've identified a few real estate agents that people have said they trust and they like, they can help you. So determine what areas they work in, and make sure that you've got an agent who works the area that you are wanting to complete your transaction in. Then also, once you've narrowed down that, then go out and do a little bit of research on these real estate agents. Read their reviews, so you can go to their social media pages if they have one, if they have social media, and see what recommendations they have. You can also go to their website. So if they have a website, there may potentially be a place on there where clients have left reviews for them. When you're reading their reviews, not only will you get to see what their clients are saying about them, but you will also be able to tell what type of business they're in. So a lot of these reviews will say, Tammy helped me purchase my new home, and she also helped me sell my home. Or it would say, Tammy helped us with the new construction process. So it gives you an idea of some of the areas of business that I work in by reading reviews that my clients may write about me. But also, I don't recommend you just go by that you do have, if you like the reviews and you want to talk to the agent, that you do ask them the areas that they work in, because they may work an area and they haven't had a client review them yet for that particular area. So important that you do ask that question. Once you've read the reviews and you're like, okay, I feel like this person, what I'm reading that people are saying about them or some of the qualities that I'm looking for in a real estate agent, maybe I need to have a conversation with them now. So schedule a meeting with them, meet with them face to face, and ask them some questions. So number one, you want to ask them, how do you get paid? Because it's very important. This will be a part of the agreement that they have with you, but go ahead and ask that up front, so that you know how this real estate agent is expecting to get paid and how much they're expecting to get paid, because there are a number of different ways a real estate agent can get paid depending on whether you're buying or selling or leasing or renting or whatever. And it's not always you that's paying them up front, so that's a conversation you want to have with them. Also ask them, how long are they willing to commit to you to be your real estate agent? Some agents have a certain amount of time that they will spend with the client, and if they have not been able to provide you with what you need by the end of that time period, then they may potentially refer you to another real estate agent. So ask them, how much time are you willing to spend with me, and be my real estate agent. Also very important that you ask them what services they offer. So if you are wanting to sell a home, are you going to provide me with professional photography, or is this photography that you're going to be taking yourself? Are you going to have a professional scheduling service for scheduling showings, or are you going to be managing the showing schedule yourself? Are you going to have a sign in my front yard, a professional sign? Are you going to have a lockbox that's managed by or owned by your MLS, or are you going to have a lockbox that you went to Lowe's and you purchased and it's going to have a code where they just punch a code in? So be aware of what type of lockbox, if any lockbox, they're going to provide for people to be able, for real estate agents to be able to get into your home and to show your home. Are you going to help me with negotiations? Are you going to measure my home, or are you going to hire a service to come in and professionally measure my home, because this might be part of the data that has to be entered into the MLS or wherever else they're going to market your property? If you're listing my property, are you going to collect feedback from anyone who comes to see my property? And are you going to provide me with that feedback? And if you do provide me with that feedback, what format will it be in? And how frequently can I expect to receive that feedback? Because it's important for you to know what people are saying when they're coming to see your home? Will you be there for my closing? Um, if you are a buyer, when are you available to show me homes? Some real estate agents don't work on the weekends, and if the weekends are the only time that you're available to go see homes, then that may not be a good match for you. If you're in a price range that is a very tight price range and there's not a lot available in that price range, and something hits the market and you have to go see it that day, because if you don't, it's going to be under contract the next day. Is your real estate agent going to be available on the spot like that to drop everything and go and show you a home? So it's very important that you ask those questions so that you know what to expect. Now, a good professional real estate agent will automatically give you this information up front without you having to ask it, after they've assessed your situation and found out specifically what it is that you need to do, and they will determine whether or not you are a good match for them, as well as a good match if they're a good match for you. But just in case, you want to make sure that you ask these questions if it doesn't come up in your conversation with your real estate agent. Another thing that you want to ask them is, do you work as part of a team? So who will I be communicating with through this process, whether I'm leasing, purchasing, selling? Who am I going to be communicating with? Do you have an administrative assistant that may communicate with me sometimes? Do you have, if I'm a buyer, do you have another agent who might come out and show me properties and you're not going to be the one showing me properties? Are you going to be at my closing, or is there going to be someone else who's going to come to my closing? It's very important that you know who you're going to be working with in the process, because there are some agents who do have a team, or they have staff that works with them, and you may be communicating with some of those people along the way too. And if that works for you, great. But if it doesn't, you need to know that in advance, so that you can set expectations with that agent, or that agent can set expectations with you for what to expect in that process. It's also good when you're to meet face to face with an agent, so that you can kind of get an idea of their personality. And does their personality fit with yours? And will you be a good match? Because if you are a buyer, you are going to spend a lot of time with your real estate agent. If you are selling something, you will still spend a good bit of time with your agent, but not as much typically as you would face to face if you were buying. So either way, it's important for you to make sure that you've got a good personality match with your real estate agent. And then another very important question to ask them is what experience level they have in working in the area of the business that you are going to need their help with. So is this going to be the first time you've ever sold a residential property? Or have you sold residential properties in the past? Have you ever worked in this area of town before? Have you ever sold a property in this area of town before? How familiar are you with the area? So those are some of the questions that you can ask just to get an idea of their experience level. Not necessarily saying that a real estate agent has to have sold a property in your neighborhood or helped a client purchase a property in your neighborhood in order to be able to help you be successful at that. But it may be a piece of information, it may be a question that you ask that helps you get an idea of their experience level in general. So very important for you to just get some information about their experience level. So those are some steps to help you get started with choosing your real estate agent. If you've done those things, then you've done a pretty good job at narrowing down who would be a good match for you when it comes to choosing a real estate agent. But last but not least, what I do want to say is choosing a real estate agent who is going to charge you the least amount if you are going to be listing, or if you're going to be one of those buyers where you are going to be paying your real estate agent out of pocket up front, is not always the best route to go. So looking for the cheapest or the least expensive route in all cases is not always the best way to go. So it's very important that you consider everything that I just talked with you about to make sure you have a good match, because choosing a real estate agent who may discount their fee, so maybe they're going to charge you a little bit less than what they normally charge because you've asked them to do that. You need to find out if that happens, are you giving up any services? So does that mean that now you're not going to get a professional photographer? Does that mean that now you're not going to get a professional scheduling service? Or maybe they offer you a website to help you sell your home that's just for your home. Are you no longer going to get that? So if you start having conversations and negotiating how your real estate agent gets paid, make sure you know what services you're getting for that and what services you are not getting. Um, because sometimes real estate agents can do a la carte services, and sometimes they will cut back on the services you received if they've reduced their fee for you at your request. Now, some agents will also reduce their fee and not reduce their services. So it's just a question that you need to ask. But I do caution you at choosing someone just because their fee is lower. Because if you don't have a good personality match or they're not going to be available when you need them, then it doesn't matter how much they charge you. It's not going to be a smooth transaction for you. So, a very important piece of information when choosing a real estate agent.